I was always trying to fit into everyone's perception of who they wanted me to be.
It was very easy for me to have negative self-talk.
I wouldn't really share much with other people how I was feeling or how I was living outside of school.
I just covered up all of my feelings with disgust.
Just knowing that my biggest judge is myself.
We're going to start with a mindful minute like we always do. And I'll start by ringing the bell. So starting by just taking 3 of possibly the deepest and longest breaths you've taken all day. And just fully acknowledging that there's nothing you need to do in this moment. Nothing you need to change. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere. And as much as feels possible, just allow yourself to relax. Really feeling supported by the floor beneath you. Students know how to walk into a regular classroom, sit in their seat, do attendance. They have a general idea of who they are in that space. And in this space, there's more of who do you want to be? Really getting to shed all the parts of themselves that maybe they feel like they have to do based on what society tells them or what their family tells them. And really look at those things that we don't look at very often and get to know who they truly are inside. In the beginning, it's what are we doing? What am I doing? The mind wants to know what we're doing at any given time. And so saying that we don't need to do anything might feel very uncomfortable at the beginning. And as you're ready, maybe taking one more deeper breath. And at the end of that breath, either raising your gaze or opening your eyes as you're ready. How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little better. More relaxed.
Nice. All right. Are you ready?
Yep, ready.
Cool.
I feel like if you really open your mind when you're taking a mindfulness class, it really changes the way you perceive things, because whenever my teacher says that we have nothing that we have to do in this moment, it's always oh my God, you're so right. I can just exist. And then I think about real quickly everything that I have to do goes over my head. But then she's like, let it pass. And it passes. And it's just, I am sitting here in my minute and it's mine. I have that ability to say that to myself now. And I think that's why it's freeing.
I came in here not really knowing what it was going to be like. As the year has gone on, it's made me realize more and more about how these practices that are just simple everyday life things that just improve how I go through life and how I interact with others.
When's a time when the focus of my attention was affecting my energy in some kind of way? Maybe you could notice what self-talk was maybe coming up in the story, but...
This class, it helps me give myself compassion and unconditional love, as well as giving others the benefit of the doubt, because often how I treat others is internal and not really about what they do. And so I think this class really helps me step back and realize those little things.
Yeah, so you notice, you're okay, so what happens in my mind, the thoughts that I have in my mind, it's not necessarily the truth. They might just be thoughts that are going through. Yeah, thank you.
Before I took this class, I felt like I was just more caught up into my own thoughts, and I'd keep them to myself and I'd build it up. But over time now I see that everybody has problems, as like we're human. I feel more confident taking this class that it's just your thoughts, and your thoughts don't resonate with everything that's actually happening. So I feel like I just have to learn how to control how I talk to myself as I'm thinking. I just like to put my hand on my stomach, and I like to take a couple of deep breaths, and it helps me rethink maybe something that I was thinking, or it helps me just put myself at a neutral zone, a neutral point in my body. It's like, even if I had the worst day, I know that everything will be okay. It's kind of like my last thought throughout everything.
Right. On the count of 3, you're gonna get up and get one of these pieces of paper, doesn't matter which one. 3, 2, 1. Now taking this piece of paper and unfolding it, and taking a moment to read what's on the paper to yourself. You can either close your eyes or just cast your gaze down. What do you notice with this activity as you're doing this, as you hear people's main takeaways?
When I hear other people share, I think it gives me more comfortability to share what I'm feeling, and often it's really freeing to hear other people's experiences and to feel that I'm not alone in those kinds of things.
I feel like a lot of people could relate to a lot of the things being said. Like, it's easy to struggle, and you just like don't always put yourself up when you're struggling. You just kind of feel like that's just how it's gonna be. So yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that, Cameron. Raise your hand if you also resonated with some that you didn't write yourself, but you heard. Anybody else? Yeah.
I feel like this class is full of just warmth and love. There's not much judgment, actually, at all. There's not judgment. I just feel like I can say things more confidently than I would in other spaces, a lot of other spaces, and I feel like I won't be judged, just more be related to, if anything.
Compared to freshman year, I've been more mature. A lot of my peers and stuff having a better academic conversation, not talking about my stuff with my mental health.
I think I've grown probably with my work ethic like I used to. You can definitely build a relationship with people in this class, but it also doesn't feel like you're suffocating in a space where people are judging you and perceiving you constantly. You can still be as vulnerable as you want. It's just how this class works.
And wherever you are, taking a big deep breath in and maybe stretching your arms overhead if you need, or your legs. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for doing this. Please put your journals in the bin. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay, cool. What? Oh, you made a new one. Okay, cool, yeah. I hope so too. I love watching my students grow and learn about themselves. I love seeing them connect with each other and just have fun. And also be able to talk about things that they don't get to talk about in other places. And I love being able to share some of the tools that have helped me in my own life. I was feeling pretty exhausted, but thankfully to my practice, I was able to periodically notice when I was spiraling, come back to the present moment, remind myself that there might be other. I didn't have mindfulness when I was in high school, and I think about what it would be like if I had. Showing them these things now, who knows what they're gonna be like as adults.
I often would determine my worthiness of love and friendship and recognition based on how well I do in things, and this class has really helped me realize that it doesn't determine my worth, and giving myself unconditional love no matter what happens is really important.
After taking this class for 2 years, I've been able to give myself as much love as I'd give anyone else. I just feel like if everybody was to take this class, it would be a step closer to people being able to better communicate how they're feeling to just people maybe you don't even know.
I think that I'll take a lot of pieces that I won't even realize I've taken from the class into my whole life.
No, don't say that.
It's just like you learn about yourself and everyone else in this class. And I'm already I think a pretty compassionate person. I have a lot of empathy, and being in this class, it definitely helped me be more compassionate to myself. And I need all those things too, because I just didn't think that I did. And then being in this class, it was like, no, you do. You do, and you deserve those things.